días, mi nombre es Giancarlo Cifuentes, News Director de Univisión 34 Atlanta. Algunos de ustedes me conocen, otros deberían conocerme. Me pueden encontrar a las 11 de la noche, todos los días de lunes a viernes. I am very delighted to be your Master of Ceremonies today, and I'm most honored to be here with you this morning, celebrating the great achievements that GALEO has accomplished for our community, not only this year, but for the 13 years that have passed. This certainly will be a morning filled with inspiration, motivation, and most importantly, a commitment to our community. GALEO is a statewide, nonpartisan organization whose mission is to promote the ongoing leadership, development, and civic engagement of our Latino community. As a journalist, I have witnessed GALEO standing tall, supporting the engagement of Latinos in the political process and promoting the respect of our community by all policymakers of our state. I have also witnessed firsthand the many leaders who have been inspired to step forward and do more for our Latino communities. GALEO has helped cultivate a positive environment for ongoing leadership development in our state. Furthermore, GALEO has been a leading voice for our Latino community and should be commended for it. Most importantly, on behalf of GALEO and its board, I want to acknowledge that this work would not be possible without the generous contributions from our community, volunteers, and supporters like you.
Good morning and buenos dias. I have a little disclaimer. I'm getting married tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm more nervous about this speech or my vows tomorrow. The Hispanic Heritage Month is supposed to be a time of celebration where we recognize the individuals who have contributed to our community here in Georgia, the U.S., and abroad. But yet for me, this month has been truly about the reflection of my involvement with the GALEO Leadership Institute. I must admit that the reason why I first joined was because of the potential for networking opportunities. I had just recently joined the Rising Star team, and I was in a position where I really needed to learn the issues we all face as a community to fight for equal rights and equal access, not only for our families, but for our neighborhood as well. What I got out of the Leadership Institute for the past 10 months, I must say, was a lot more than I could ever imagine. What was a once-a-month commitment turned into a lifetime impact for me. It was more than just networking and a whole lot more friendships. I learned practical business skills such as effective communication, team building, as well as agenda setting. I also learned the art of logistics of the canvassing of our communities. And boy, can I say that for a lot of you elected representatives, I say my hat goes out to you. If you have never had this experience, my Leadership Institute peers who are in this room, Cristian Ramos, Maria de Rosario Palacios, and Julio Hernandez, are great examples of the power of Latino millennials that are doing great work in our community. And I have no doubt that they'll be running local elections as well as presidential elections very, very soon. In all, my participation in the Leadership Institute has been life-changing. I learned that the Latino images in our media are not the Latino images in our community. In fact, our class had over 30 young and mature participants that represented power, energy, but most importantly, maximized community engagement. Our group shows that when we all come together, change is absolutely possible. Our group will represent your next congressmen and women, mayors, senators, and House of Representatives. Most importantly, they represent that through our activities together, we will make an impact for years to come. I even learned how to create a campaign slogan of my own, where my last name is Cruz, so we will be cruising for change. Is a community where leaders can create, innovate, and bring about change. It's a place where leaders are equipped with all the tools, skills, and necessary to be the leaders of today and tomorrow. In the end, the Leadership Institute has allowed me to learn and understand that the people to be proud of are truly the people in this room. So please give yourself a round of applause. All of us together can create the tomorrow we all deserve and want for the generations to come. Please encourage our community to become involved with the GALEO Leadership Institute, because we all can become the change we want to see in the world. Thank you so much.
The Zapelo Foundation was one of the first funders of GALEO's work in Georgia, and also had Jerry Gonzalez served as one of its trustees for several years. Now they are here to present the GALEO Latino Community Development Fund with the prestigious Smith-Bartley Advocacy Award. Please give a warm welcome to Phyllis Bowen, Executive Director of the Zapelo Foundation, along with several of the Georgia-based trustees.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're so happy to be here today to present GALEO with the Smith-Bagley Award. Smith-Bagley was the president of the Zapelo Foundation for a number of years and was a wonderful leader, very committed to serve the people of America and making sure that everybody had an equal chance.
GALEO has long been a supporter of supporting the DREAM Act, supporting educational access and promoting educational access, and Georgia Dreamers deserve to be allowed in-state tuition as well as to have access to all of our colleges and universities. We don't need exclusion in our educational policy. We need inclusion, and the Georgia Board of Regents should do the right thing. So I probably Thank you for your ongoing support and dedication to GALEO. Together we are accomplishing a lot and making tremendous progress all across this great state of ours. But much more work is still ahead. As Latinos, it is time for us to take a stand. The Latino electorate in Georgia has grown strong enough that our strength can be felt, not just at the local levels, but also statewide, if we show up to vote. With the challenges that we face today, we need to vote to demand respect and dignity for our communities. Just because we are U.S. citizens doesn't mean we forget our immigrant roots and histories. It doesn't mean that we abandon our immigrant brothers and sisters just because we are now able to vote. No. It means we have a responsibility and a duty to stand up and be the voice for those who cannot participate in the process. We want to make sure that we do spread the good word and the good word of what we are doing in our community, and that GALEO is a strong voice for all Latinos in Georgia. I am GALEO. Now a little bit louder, because I can't quite hear you. A little bit louder. I am GALEO. One more time. I am GALEO. Thank you so much for your support.
So this morning, I am here to once again emphasize the importance of the key role that stories play in the work that GALEO does. I believe that we are predisposed to stories as a means of communicating, learning, and navigating our increasingly complex society. Stories plant ideas, emotions, thoughts, and lessons in our minds. Sometimes stories just entertain, while others persuade us, inform us, and inspire us to take action or to change. Stories matter, and the story told in Dream Things True. So a bit about our author and our keynote speaker. Dr. Marie Marquardt is a scholar in residence at the Emory University Candler School of Theology, and she's the lead author of Living Illegal, The Human Face of Unauthorized Immigration. She's widely published in the areas of religion, interethnic relations, and civic participation of Mexican immigrants in the American South. She holds a PhD from Emory University, a master's degree from the University of Florida, and a bachelor's from Princeton University. and Marie has worked for many years as an advocate among immigrants in Georgia. She currently serves as a co-chair of El Refugio, which serves immigrants detained at the Stewart Detention Center with visitation and hospitality programs. She lives with her husband, Chris, and their 4 young children in Decatur. And Marie, I would just like to personally thank you for all the work that you do in our community and for writing this story, a story that matters, and that will no doubt inform, inspire, and persuade readers to take action.
Let me be clear. I understood the profound differences between me and the other partygoers. The most evident were socioeconomic class and ethnicity, but the most significant was status. By chance, I was born in the United States. I am a citizen. Every one of the women gathered around me on that night was an immigrant, and not one of them had legal status in the United States. They were, and those who remain in the United States still are, undocumented. Nevertheless, they took a chance on our friendship. They showed me that at the heart of the matter, we had much more in common than separated us. They were new mothers, I was becoming one. They had much to teach me, I had much to learn. For the next decade, I continued to research among these women and their families, and among hundreds of other undocumented immigrants throughout the Southeast. There was plenty of research to be done in this region, which is filled with counties and cities that demographers call hypergrowth regions for immigration. I gathered field research data, I conducted focus group interviews, distributed surveys. I worked with talented colleagues from across the United States and Latin America to publish academic books and articles. We documented the extraordinary speed with which southern towns were changing, and the impact that immigrants from Latin America were having in their new communities. We examined inter-ethnic relations and the sometimes fraught relationships that longtime residents developed with their new neighbors. I immersed myself in this research and academic writing, but I also continued to build friendships. I participated in birthday parties, baptisms, and quinceañeras. My friends came over with their babies and we practiced English while nursing. We sat around kitchen tables, eating mangoes, drinking coffee. They told me their stories and I told them mine. When my undocumented friends felt ready to buy a home, they asked my advice about neighborhoods and strong school districts. And of course, sometimes my audiences aren't aware that undocumented immigrants buy homes at high rates, but of course you all are. In fact, almost half of those who've lived in the United States for a decade or longer own their own homes. I attended ceremonies. I clapped and cheered when my friends' children won their school citizenship awards. The irony was certainly not lost on any of us in some cases. I attended high school plays, sporting events, and graduations. I watched those beautiful, resilient children make their way toward adulthood. Some of them struggled to find their way, but so many of them thrived against great odds. I was awed by their capacity to excel in school and to serve as translators, cultural intermediaries. They were becoming young adults proud of their heritage, civically engaged, striving to form an identity as Americans. They had indeed earned those citizenship awards. They were poised to become the best of Americans, the same kind that have built and reformed this nation. But most of these kids were not becoming American citizens. They were powerless to do so. Unless, like me, they had the good fortune of having been born in the United States, they, like their parents, remained among the undocumented, the 11 million. Now, almost 15 years later, they and I, all of us, are being bombarded with the question, what is to be done with the 11 million? I decided to write a novel. I took 15 years of research and friendship, celebration and hardship, scholarship and service, and I distilled them into one story. It's a fictional story written for young adults. It's a romance, in fact. So, just to recap, not only did I write a novel, I wrote a novel for young adults, and it's a romance, and the cover is pastel, and there's a couple hugging on the cover. So needless to say, my academic colleagues are a little surprised by this decision. But supportive nonetheless, I should add. Why did I write a love story? Here's why. Because I believe that when we see thorny issues through the eyes of love, it changes everything.